Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight to our wellbeing webinar. My name's Belinda McGowan, and I'm super excited to bring the amazing Jennifer Jefferies to our call tonight. Jen is our present day wise woman, surfer chick, author with a new book, F the Stress. Can't say it on the recording. And I absolutely love how Jen shows up every day and lives such an authentic life. So tonight we're going to be going through how our program works, and Jen's going to go into all the details about why these products, what they do, what are the benefits. For me, I like to know what I'm taking and what it's going to do. And myself, I've been using the products for nearly over 5.5 years. And when I first started, I was exhausted, burnt out, restricting my eating, and not getting the results when I was hitting the gym and just not really getting what I was working for. And I really noticed a difference by doing a complete 30-day program, how that all turned around. And definitely just maintaining. And I feel like as we're aging, just turned 45. So I'm in that era now of, preventative and, oh my God, midlife. I'm in that next tick box as well. He's just, you want to live the best, healthiest life possible. So that's why I continue to use the products, and I absolutely love them. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Jen, to get underway so we can get moving.
Cool. Thanks, Belinda. And by the way, I'm 63, 64 in a few months, and I consider myself just coming to mid-age, not even mid-age yet. So stop it.
Well,
Stop it.
60 is a new 40, right? So what's
Oh my gosh, so much so. It
35,
really is.
25?
Yeah, I love it. And so hi everyone. I am Jen the naturopath, been naturopath for 30 plus years and been working with the Isagenix program for the last 15 years. So just want to share quickly when I was first shown the program by Heather. Looked at it, looked at the tonics, and my in my profession, I specialize in working with adrenal burnout people, particularly, and speak about adrenal burnout around the world. I've worked as a professional speaker for more than 20 years, more than 25 years now. And when I was shown this program, looked at a couple of the tonics and went far out. They're using the same ingredients that I've written about in books and was teaching about around the world. So I was really, really excited. Then when I did my due diligence, I noticed it was network marketing. I went, I don't do it. I've never done it. I won't do it. Go away. The reality was I couldn't beat the formulas. And one day I was hand blending my own version of the tonics, and I went, Jen, you're a deal. Give this a go. So I parked my naturopath ego, which was incredibly hard. And it was really hard for me to do at the time. And 15 years later, I'm 63. I'm on the beach for sunrise surfing or walking the beach every single morning. I'm up at 4, and people need to know that you can just feel better than you ever dreamed of. Strong, fit, and healthy, and just looking forward to aging more and more and more and having my body work for me instead of against me. So that's the reality of where I'm at. However, a lot of people aren't in that space. And their body, like me, before I burned out my adrenals when I was in my mid-20s working in the pharmacy industry. And my body had been giving me lots of hints that I was off track before I really hit the wall. And you might be able to relate to some of these. So everything from broken sleep, aches and pains, excuse me, brain fog, bloating, burps, farts, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, stress. I held a lot of stress in my bowel in those days. Physical fatigue, exhaustion, cranky bugger. I was tired and cranky all the time. Weight gain, mental fatigue, cramping, all those kind of things. Hormones were up and down all over the place. And I just thought that's the way it was. And I was actually working in the pharmacy industry. So I was self-medicating with all the drugs I could legally do. And I was not well. And I eventually, hit the wall, and a naturopath helped me and put me on like a 30-day reset. And in 3 weeks, I was so well, and I had to know how she did it. So I went back to school and I studied to be a naturopath. When I found Isagenix, I went far out. It's based so close to exactly what I had gone on decades before. That's why I worked with it. So I want to share with you tonight the bare ass minimum, the bottom line on why I think this absolutely rocks. So if you look at just this list, you don't need to write in the chat or anything, but just think about how many of these can you relate to? or have related to in the last 3, 6, 9, 12 months. It's a reality that our body's trying to tell us we're off track, but we're so in it and busy and doing life and everything that we don't see it. The other thing is that these are all signs, early signs of adrenal burnout. So adrenal glands are little glands that sit on top of our kidneys. It's where we produce our stress hormones as well as our reproductive system, like boy and girl hormones. Our adrenals tells our thyroid what to do. Our adrenals tells our reproductive system what to do. And we're meant to burn a bit of energy every day, adrenal energy, and we're meant to put it back in, burn it, put it back in. We put it back in when we sleep. If you're doing broken sleep between 2 and 4 a.m., that's a clear sign that your cortisol levels are out of whack because your adrenal glands are tired. The reality is, and the reason I wrote my latest book, which is called Fuck the Stress, I'll say it, is the fact that the last 4 years' stress has really kept people trapped in that adrenal fatigue mode. And so everything I do is about getting people out of that hole and have them be able to thrive again, and then work out their way to come from a place of prevention. So the Isagenix program fits all that kind of thinking for me. And I want to explain why. So let's go. We know there's lots of influences. Look, all the toxins nowadays, things like that. That's just a reality. Money stress, financial stress, the way people are waiting for mortgages to go down. I think they're actually going to go up. I think interest rates will go up again this year. They're not going to go down. That's Jen's prediction. It's just a reality. The global health crisis, we won't even go there, but it was the biggest impact. And the thing that taxes our body more than anything is biological stress. So you can eat a clean diet. You can have a raw, vegan, organic, paleo, keto, whole foods, anything diet, and have stress impacting you, whether physical, emotional, or mental stress, and you will still be outside the alkaline corridor and your body will not be working for you. So I'm all about, as a naturopath, the alkaline corridor is where everything works. And outside, we're in and out all day. Stress kicks us in and out. All we care about is how quick you bounce back. Okay? And if you're bouncing out more than you're staying in, that's where those symptoms are starting to show. So I want to help people to get back to that space. And this is where Isagenix absolutely fits in so well. Can you just mute the lines there, please, Heather? Since you're driving. So whether you're after something like you've got crappy sleep, you're wanting to sort out your sleep, or your gut health, or your fitness, we're going to hear from one of my favorite fitness people tonight. If you're wanting that clear mental, brain capacity, natural beauty, you want to look after your skin, healthy weight management. I'll touch on skinny stress heads as well as people who are wanting to lose weight. It doesn't matter what the solution, what it is. As a naturopath, there's a core basic kind of principle that we need to have going that builds our foundation. And when we get that right, the rest works. Okay. And if you stick close to it, even 80% of the time, you get the results. So stress is it. Stress is actually the biggest pandemic. And we can't make stress go away. Stress is actually really good for us. However, we've got to be able to have our body in the place where it can respond positively and come back to center, where people's bodies have not done that from the last 4 years. So naturopathically, when we see someone who comes to us in clinic, and it doesn't matter what the physical symptom is or whatever those things are, we always want to know what's happening behind it. What's been happening the last 3 months, 6 months? Our body runs blood cycles that are 3 monthly. It's actually about 100 days, but we say every 3 months. So if we want to make long-term change in a body, we've got to do things for at least 3 months. However, in the first month, if you're giving your body a reset in the first 30 days, you'll know you're heading in the right direction. Now, the same thing, if someone's body is off track, it could have been something that's been going on for the last 3, 6, 9 months, a few blood cycles or longer. We didn't gain all the weight overnight. We didn't get crappy sleep overnight. Things didn't just happen. We noticed them just overnight. However, they've been building up, sitting there simmering, and then one day they just give you a bit of a slap. So the first thing I always like to talk about is stress management, because we need to be able to balance that out. So stress, like I said, it produces cortisol. Our body gets to the point that, in Chinese medicine, we say, like, your gut's like a great big crock pot. Okay. Now, when we stress out, we crunch our shoulders. That's a normal response because we get what's called wind cold conditions, which is aches in Chinese medicine. We say that when we do that, because our cortisol's high. When we do that, we pinch the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the largest cranial nerve, and it runs down from our brain all the way down through our gut and keeps going. And what happens is when it does it, it literally stops it working properly. And we say in Chinese medicine, it puts a fire out in your belly and food stews instead of digesting. But imagine it just shuts off that digestive system function properly. And we start not absorbing nutrients and things properly. And when cortisol's too high, our body tries to protect us from it by wrapping it up in fat. And it goes on our belly area because that's where our adrenal glands, the little glands, sit on the top of the kidneys. So that's where it's produced. So it can show up as things like crappy sleep. It can show up as things like crappy weight, crappy moods, crappy emotions, so much, all those things that I rattled off at the start. And ultimately, the thing that ages us the fastest, that taxes our telomeres, is absolutely stress. So we want to be able to make stress work for us. And like I said, stress is actually good. It's important, but we've got to make it work for us. So as a naturopath, what we do when we look behind, we go, okay, stress is impacting. We use a class of herbs called adaptogens. So adaptogens are a class of herbs that help your body adapt to stress. We can't make stress go away, but we can adapt to it. Now, there's actually dozens of different adaptogens. However, they all work on different body systems. So for instance, something like ashwagandha works on stress and anxiety. American ginseng, all the brain stuff, is also our immune system and calm. Licorice root, which is so good for oxidative stress. Siberian ginseng, which is L-therio, is about for mental fatigue. Rhodiola, physical and mental fatigue. They all work on different body systems. So a naturopath never prescribes one adaptogen at once. We just don't. I see people on the internet flogging things like ashwagandha gummies, and it's like, it's not going to get you the result you want because we're not one body system. We're a body of body systems. Okay, so when I saw that Isagenix was using the same kind of adaptogens that I had written about in books and was producing and was teaching about around the world, I went, wow, they actually get the impact of stress. So I went, I want to work with these guys. I was really impressed. So we have a tonic that helps your body adapt to stress differently. So the cool thing about adaptogens is that if you take it in the morning, it adapts to what you're doing. It will help give you more energy. If you take it at sleep time, which is how I like to take it, it brings me down to a better adrenal recharging sleep. So your adrenal glands need between 7 and 9 hours sleep a night. And the most important sleep we do is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. because that's when our body gets set up ready to do the hormone balancing. Okay. And so often things like too much weight or not enough weight, bloating, farts, everything is hormone driven behind it because the stress hormone cortisol is out of balance. So Ionix, you can take it in the morning or at the night, but imagine, easy way to think about what Ionix does. Here you are, life's great. Yay. Everyone gets kicked in and out all day. The tonic helps you not swing so far off center and come back to center faster. That's the easiest way to think of what it actually does. Okay, so first step, we need to be able to manage the stress. Second step is we want to be able to support the body's natural detoxifying body systems. We can't make the body detox. We can't ever. All we can ever do is support the body to work properly. Okay. So when I was looking at the program, I went, okay, cool. Let me look at this tonic. I love pulling things apart. In fact, I made spreadsheets on spreadsheets of these products when I was first shown them. So I looked at them and went, okay, cool. Yep. Had all the right kind of herbs to be able to support the body's detoxifying body systems. And I love that it even had herbs like burdock root. So burdock root is a herb that we use to clean the skin from the inside out. Now, our biggest eliminating organ in our body is our skin. People think, oh, it's just poos and peas. No, skin's way more important for eliminating than poos and peas. Okay, so I love that we paired herbs to support detoxifying body systems with adaptogens. So intermittent fasting nowadays has become a fad. It's a naturopathic principle. I've prescribed it for clients for 30 odd years. We say about having a rest day 1 day a week, which is where you rest your gut and don't go eating. But the thing is, when a naturopath does it, we always prescribe herbs. So think about the alkaline corridor. This is where everything works. Anytime we physically, emotionally, or mentally stress our body, we kick out of the corridor. So you just don't eat, you're out. When you're out, your cortisol spikes. Okay, so people just intermittent fasting, whether they're doing a 16 and 8, a 20 and 4, or 32-hour, whatever they're doing, if they're just not eating all the fancy water fasts around at the moment, they're spiking their cortisol. Now, if you're wanting to fast for weight loss and stuff like that, you can be going against the result, what you think you're going to get. So those kind of fasting doesn't get my tick. Supported fasting absolutely gets my tick as a naturopath. So I was super impressed with this tonic. And it tastes great too. So that's about keeping you in the corridor while you do our version of intermittent fasting, which we call cleanse days. Great tonic, over 10 vitamins, minerals, herbs, and botanicals, supports everything, 30 calories a serve. And you can do it. I did a cleanse day yesterday. Some people you can do like a daily maintenance, which I did for a few years. I'm back to doing cleanse days again periodically. There's lots of different ways you can do it. But in the first 30-day reset, one day a week, you'll do an intermittent fasting day. And if you're not used to it, it's okay. This is a really nice, easy way to do it. And we also give you little protein snacks to nibble on that keep your blood sugar levels even. So again, you're not under stress while you're on that cleanse. So then you've supported the stress, or managed the stress, you've supported the body's detoxifying body systems, and then you can put the right nutrition back in, okay? Because just eating clean doesn't cut it. It just doesn't. So when I looked at Isagenix head shakes, I was not the shake girl. I was not the shake girl. And I pulled this thing apart in every way. First thing I noticed was that our dairy version comes from grass-fed cows. Now, in one of my books, I talked about if I was going to, I'm vegetarian. However, I'm plant-based, but if I was ever going to eat meat, I would eat only grass-fed. Why? Because that's the way the animal's meant to live, grass-fed. And the other thing is that when they eat that grass-fed diet, they have the full spectrum of amino acids. Okay. Now, people who brag about having 300-day-old grain-fed beef, I think it should be sold as 300-day-old, going to really mess up with your health beef. And particularly, you don't get the amino acids that go turning on your happy hormones. And it's interesting nowadays that from a stress perspective, so many people, they're not depressed, they're actually just not happy. So the stress of the last 4 years, all this big rise in mental health issues is through the roof. It all makes sense to me as a naturopath. The big stress happened. We went into alarm mode and we haven't been able to come out of it. And what's happened is the gut is still turned off. We're not, and when you're outside the corridor, you crave food, crave crap food. When you're inside the corridor, you crave good food. Okay, so people all got kicked out over the last 4 years. Well, the last year was meant to be, settled down a bit, but definitely for 3 years, they were kicked outside, craving crap food, doing Uber Eats all the time, all that kind of stuff. And so their gut's not been fed right, their brain's not been fed right. And it all makes sense to me why it's just not working. So our protein shakes make it a no-brainer. You would have to eat all these foods that are on the right here to pull up as much nutrition as what's in one shake. You just can't physically eat that much food. So you're getting 24 grams of protein, 24 grams of good carbs, 8 grams of good fiber or prebiotic fiber, 6 grams of good fats. So this is not a calorie deprivation. This is a full a full meal replacement shake. So the cool thing is, even things like you're satiated on this, you lose cravings really quick. It brings you back to the alkaline corridor really nicely. So it's wildly different to having a calorie deprivation kind of shake from the chemist shop that is not feeding you the right energy that you need. So it comes in lots of different flavors. If you're a plant-based person, we've got the plant-based version. If you are the person who likes to, wants the extra protein, which I like to do, the 36 grams here, the Isoline Pro, there's lots of options depending on what you do. And it's a lifestyle kind of thing. So 15 years on, I still have a shake 5 mornings a week. Jump out of the surf, have a shake, because I know it's a no-brainer. It gets my gut chemistry happy. It gets my brain happy. It absolutely fuels me for the rest of the day. And, except Saturday mornings, I'll jump out of the surf and I'll have a great big halloumi burger. This is a lifestyle program. But you know what? You give your body a reset and then you work out what your preventative is so that you can stay inside the alkaline corridor the majority of the time. So I know it's worth me looking after my stress, doing a cleanse day when I want, a fasting day when I want, and 5 days a week having a shake. So it's totally lifestyle, which is really cool. What's inside the reset? Everything to do a 30-day program. For a month, you replace 2 meals a day with a nutrition shake, have one really good, healthy knife and fork meal, and our Facebook groups are loaded with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of good, healthy, easy recipes for you to play with. You have a healthy morning tea and afternoon tea, a couple of supplements to turn on your gut chemistry, all your tonics, everything comes inside the pack. We make it a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. It's all backed by science. In fact, if you are a nerd like me and want to see the science, whoever invited you to this call can send you a link to all the research studies. We have more than, I think, 21, 22 peer-reviewed published studies. And things that I like the best. I think I've got it on the slide. Here we go. Nope. So we showed, was on the, this isn't the slide I was looking for. Anyway, but on the program, this gives some good stats, but not what I was looking for. But on the program, people lost twice as much visceral fat, which is when our program was put up against a heart healthy diet, which is that gold standard diet that doctors put people on in the United States, and the same kind of thing that they do here in Australia. On our program, they didn't do cravings. They stuck to it. They stayed on track easier. They wanted to continue when the study finished as well. But the number that I was impressed with in the studies is that it dropped the biological stress markers by 34%. Imagine your life that you're responding to stress better 34% of the time. It's huge. That's the stuff that causes all the other problems. So it's not a calorie deprivation weight loss program. It's a tell your body to work properly program. And in particular, I do a lot of work with what I call skinny stress heads. In fact, is Rachel on? I might get a skinny stress head to jump on and share her story for a sec. Where are you,
Yes.
Rach? Can you
Yeah.
unmute? Hello, my little
Hello.
skinny stress
Yes.
head.
I'm your classic skinny stress head. So,
Do you want to share your story? Because that's the thing. People think, it's just weight loss. It's not. People like you and Alice, my wife, same skinny stress heads, needed to put on muscle and get energy. Tell us your story.
yeah. Well, okay. So I used to just be running on adrenaline, like full on adrenaline and cortisol, because I had 4 little kids, a business, and just I couldn't cope if I wasn't flat out busy. So it was 100 kilometers an hour every day, all day. And I told myself I didn't have time to eat properly because I was so busy. So I pretty much lived on caffeine and like maybe drive through Macca's. And then I used to get migraines, and I wondered why. It was probably to do with my diet as well. And also I was living on Nurofen and Panadol at the same time, not a good combination. So as a result, my gut health was shocking. My cortisol levels are through the roof, and you don't actually realize how much that affects your mental health. So our gut and our brain are very interconnected. The gut-brain axis is, a scientific term that if you've ever studied that, you know how important it is to have a healthy gut. And it wasn't until I fell in a heap about 4 years ago that I realized I needed to stop and start again with just about everything. But as it turns out, when I tried the products, so Heather thankfully said to me, try these products, it'll make a big difference. Didn't really believe her, but because I trusted her, I thought I'd give it a go. And lo and behold, everything changed. It was like I was back to when I was like 10 years old, and I had all this energy and I was vibrant. I was, feeling positive again. And since then, I just want to share it with everybody. I'm just like, why is everybody not doing this? You don't have to feel like crap. You really don't. And, quite often people said to me, why did you do it? You didn't need to lose weight. I actually just needed to feel good again, and actually did need to lose weight because going through menopause, menopause belly was happening. I'm like, what is going on with my body? And I certainly wasn't going to let myself turn into, something I didn't want to be. So anyway, I could keep talking, but I'll shut up now.
Thanks, Rach. Yeah, and you had the cortisol skinny fat belly. You
Yeah.
did. So all
Yeah.
that came back into line. We might grab Sinead. Where is she? Sinead's been on the program about 12 months. There she is. G'day. Do you want to just briefly share your story? Because you've had some great results as well.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I actually recently just looked back at a photo of myself from 12 months ago, like from December last year, and like compared it. And I just was thinking about what kind of state I was in then, and I was just unhealthy, unhappy. Carrying a lot of extra weight, and carrying a lot of negative thoughts and emotions as well. Um, and I just was, telling myself that I wasn't worthy, and I was eating, whatever I wanted because I didn't feel like I was worthy of helping myself or doing anything better. Um, so I kind of, yeah, needed a change. I needed the energy. I've seen Belinda promote the Isagenix, and I thought, well, nothing changes if nothing changes. So, I got to give it a go. So I kind of started small. I changed up my nutrition. I'd done the 30-day reset, and it made like I lost about 4 to 5 kilos in the first month. And it just gave me the energy and the motivation to start exercising and going to the gym. And yeah, so now 12 months on, I've lost 16 kilos, and I'm just more energetic, happy in myself and in my body, and yeah, just happier
Oh,
overall.
very cool. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. Your photos were bloody awesome. When you posted them,
Thank,
I went, whoa, such a visual. That was really cool. All
thank
right.
you.
I'm going to get my mate Arthur to unmute. So Arthur, I just love bragging on Arthur all the time. Arthur's now 81, started with me when he was 73, and retired school teacher, school principal, and the old man had started to sneak into his body where he'd always been a really physical kind of guy. So I'm going to get Arthur to share a bit of his story. Can you unmute, please, Arthur? Well, no, you're muted, mate. Oh, I hope it can work.
Heather, you might be able to unmute
Can
him.
you unmute Arthur, Heather?
Just unmute everyone.
Yeah. Is it working? Go to participants, Heather, and hit unmute all. I love technology. We'll work it out, guys. It's worth it. I love Arthur's story. Not working, Heather? You keep working on that. I'll keep talking just because this storm's getting closer and closer. Soon as you can talk, Arthur, do it. Hopefully we can get Arthur to share his story. Okay. So I mentioned how when we stress out, our gut gets really thrown. And I love
Okay, she's unmuted me. Oh my God, Heather, that was stressful. You're banned. Oh my God. Right, I can unmute. I can unmute Jen too. Right. Okay, I'm going to talk about the collagen. Need some adaptogen. Okay, after the age in our 20s, our collagen levels start decreasing, unfortunately. And so the ways that we can boost them up is through consuming collagen, whether it be through supplements and certain foods and things like that. And so the factors causing the loss of elasticity in our skin, it's aging, diet, nutrition. We're not getting that supplement to boost the levels up. Too much exposure to sunlight, we get skin damage as well. Stress and anxiety, not consuming enough water, hormonal changes, and lack of sleep. So that all affects all of that. Now, comparing collagens, you have lots of options that you can use. Now, the one that we use and recommend, and we've gone through the science behind all this, why we've gone down this road, and we're using marine collagen. And it is so simple to use, and you literally see the results, I feel, in hydration within the first 5 days. And all you do is drink this little bottle, and it tastes so good, like a berry flavor. You have one in the morning and one in the evening for your first 10 days. And then after that, you can just have one every morning. Having 2 a day will boost your levels really quickly. You notice the hydration on your skin, your hands, things like that. And you know what the best thing about the collagen is? That it works in the areas where you can't get treatments, ladies. So, your hands, I think there are some injections you can get in there, but and your neck and things like that. So these are the areas, and the sun damage on your chest, all that area. This is where you're going to be noticing where the results are, which is amazing. We always encourage you to take before photos as well, because that is when you're really going to notice the difference. And so with the collagen as well, people ask me all the time, how long do I have to take it for? And it's like taking a supplement. It's like taking an iron supplement. Your levels are going to rise, and then they will eventually start decreasing if you're not supplementing. So some people go and take it for 30 days, 60 days, have a break, and then they realize that they're dropping in their collagen, and they get on it again. Why our collagen is so good is because it's got 5 grams in this little bottle. It is oxidized. So once you open this bottle, you need to drink it. But if you're having a collagen bottle like this, as soon as you open it, it starts getting... Sorry, dog's barking. It starts getting, I've lost my train of thought now. But anyway, it has zinc, biotin, vitamin C. It is manufactured in Taiwan, but we have the exclusive rights to source our marine collagen from the fish in Norway. No one else has this license here, which is amazing. Oh my God, Arthur is unmuted, so we can jump. There you go. It deteriorates when open.
Now, I had to call Sienna.
One fact
I had to call Sienna.
One fact about the collagen is some people use the powdered collagen. Do you know that powder has 30% absorption in your body? What I love about the liquid, it is 90% absorption compared to the powdered collagen. So that is a big thing. There's so many things out there on the supermarket. Do your research. And I don't know about you, but I want to use a product that I'm going to get results and taste good. So it doesn't taste fishy or anything like that. Any other slides? Otherwise, we might have results photo actually. Yeah, so we've actually had some clinical studies come through as well, which you can see 70% experience measurable reduction in the wrinkles. Hyperpigmentation from sun damage has been a huge thing. Hydration, as I said, 93% notice the difference in the hydration. That is the biggest thing. Brightness, you can always see the before and after photos. People's eyes as well are so clear. And yeah, firmness, plumpness. It is one of our favorites, and it's one of our most popular products on the market with us. Okay, here are some of our results: 30 days, 60 days, male, female, and your hands. There's that hand photo. What great results. And that's all coming down to hydration as well and boosting your collagen levels. Okay, now I'm going to unmute Jen. Let me see. I've done that. And
I was panicking. I couldn't unmute. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. That's awesome. All right. So while we've got Arthur unmuted, we're going to get him to share his story. There is still Arthur. Have we lost him? Oh, no. He lives in Brizzy too. There's storms around. I've lost him after all that. Oh, no. If he comes back on.
Oh, he is on there, Jen, but his camera's off. He's on there. I can see him.
Arthur. No, he's muted again. Can you unmute, please, Arthur? Can you unmute him, Belinda? While you get Arthur back on. Well, this is fun. I love technology. You just got to go with it. So for those of you who need another level of accountability, I love that we run a Kickstart 90. So like I said, our body runs a blood cycle that's 3 months. And I love that we run a challenge that runs every 3 months. Lots of great support, lots of great rewards for being part of it. And it just helps people to be able to stick to the program better. It's a wonderful community that's incredibly inspiring. So when you start the program, you can absolutely join that as well. Are we near Arthur? I love that he rang his granddaughter, Sienna, to work out how to... Arthur's in his 80s, guys. He's a bloody legend for getting on here at night. I love him. Can we get his technology? I'd love him to share his story as we get off. Arthur, he's probably ringing his granddaughter again. No, I don't think so. I think we're done. Technology is going to beat us. You can't unmute him? Belinda?
No, I can't. I'm sorry, it's gone. Only
It's
you.
gone again. All right. All good. Sorry that technology's beat us a couple of times tonight, guys. The thing is, you know, when I was shown this 15 years ago, I took months of ripping this thing apart, trying to prove why it would be shit before I would even try it. And I gave the poor general manager of Australia such a hard time, and the science guys such a hard time in my own doing my due diligence. And every time we bring a new product or anything out, I rip it apart, because as a professional speaker on the world stage, I will not compromise my brand for anything. And I've only ever been impressed with this program. It is a lifestyle program that will help you to just come back to center, create a baseline. There's all these fancy things out there nowadays, and yet people are forgetting to build a solid foundation. If you want long-term sustainable great health, no matter where you are in life, because the window of wellness is always open, okay? So it doesn't matter where your health is at the moment, it's always the right day to start now. So you've got to get the foundation right. Then you'll get sustainable great results. So imagine you give your body a kick up the bum for a month. You'll know that you're starting to head in the right direction. You can scale it back in if you choose. You'll tweak it. Whoever has introduced you to the program will help mentor you through the program. And we have an amazing support team. And all the people in my team have all got access to me if we need, for me to come in and help as well.
Hey, Jen, just before we wrap up, we've got a few people in the chat asking if you could just give a 2-minute recap on when you were muted on the gut. So we all know that it starts in the gut, right?
Okay. Oh, you didn't hear anything I said on the gut?
No, everyone was the best part.
1 second. I said I'm not going to talk about poos. All right. There it is. Let's go. Simple. When people's gut is misbehaving, like, burps, farts, bloating, all those kind of things, constipation, diarrhea, they go to the chemist shop and they buy themselves a probiotic. Okay, and they think that'll fix it all. And it's got 600 trillion billion little microbes in it, and it'll be wonderful. But the thing that they don't realize is that probiotics are fed by prebiotic fiber. And if you don't have the right kind of prebiotic fiber, that probiotic can't flourish and multiply and create postbiotics. So we have this tribiotic system happening in our bodies, and people do that. Well, I just want to take a probiotic. You're missing the point, and you won't get the results that you're after. So prebiotics, I love that our nutrition shakes, the 8 grams of fiber that's in our shakes is prebiotic fiber. Yes. It's designed to help. That's why our shake is not it's a settle your stomach down shake. It's not a bloaty shake. It's really cool. But also our pungent foods, garlics, onions, leeks, ginger, turmeric, all the spices, they're all prebiotic foods. It's mango season at the moment. Kensington Pride mangoes is one of the best prebiotic fibers. Green kiwi fruit is right up there, or your root vegetables, all those kind of things are really good prebiotic fibers. So you've got to be still eating the right nutrition to feed the probiotics so they can flourish to get the postbiotics. So if your gut's out of balance, and it's always out of balance from stress, worry, overwork, all those kind of things, and when people were all, during the pandemic, were outside the alkaline corridor and they were living on Uber Eats, their gut really got thrown. And so most people's gut hasn't come back to center yet. So I love that we have a tribiotic. And the tribiotic is a great addition to the 30-day reset. Things people don't realize is that it contains, or 70% of your immune system is in your large intestine. It's there to protect you from your bowel. Okay, so 70% of your immune system is there. It's in those gut microbiome. Women, ladies, 70% of your estrogen is produced in your gut microbiome. Crazy. That link between brain, your happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine, a large percentage of it is built in your gut microbiome. And so just eating clean, having a gut that's not working properly, and not managing stress, that gut-brain axis that Rachel touched on, it just can't happen properly. So this is a really good complement to our 30-day program. There you go. How's that? And the cool thing is, everyone, there's a 15% off this week if you're in Australia or New Zealand. Oh, I've hit the wrong buttons. There you go. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee all the time. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. And this week, for the rest of this week, there's a 15% discount off our 30-day resets and above if you're in Australia and New Zealand.
That's amazing. And just reach out to the person that invited you to the call tonight if you have any questions. We've got some great support groups where we can plug you into, which have a lot of content that may answer your questions as well. And we are super excited to wrap this call up. Really appreciate your time, Jen, tonight. And we survived the call with no storm, but
no, it's just thundering in the background. It's great.
So thanks again, everyone. Awesome. And we'll have the recording if anyone would like to rewatch it or send it to anyone. So thanks again and have a great night.
Thanks, guys.